Hi, my name is Dr. Dylan Remmick here with HealthSource here in Baxter, and we have Toni with us today, who is gracious enough to share kind of her journey so far working with us. So we met a couple months ago,
Yes.
right? Do you remember what you initially came into our office for?
I initially came in for the weight loss and wellness program here.
Mm-hmm.
I had just moved into the area from Morris, and actually moving up on the radio, I heard an ad for it,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounded pretty interesting, so I did a little research, and after like the sixth time hearing the ad, I was like, I'm gonna call.
So how long prior to coming in had you struggled with weight issues?
Oh goodness, I've had weight issues my entire life since I was like 2.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I pretty much started eating solid food, I would gain weight and just did not have the ability to lose it. So through childhood, adolescence, and adulthood.
Now, how did the weight at times over the years, how did it affect you in regards to what you could and could not do?
It affected lots of things. When I was younger, it was definitely a social issue. It's hard being different, especially around children. And then as I got older, well, one thing about being heavy my whole life is that during my teens, I had a lot of muscle mass, so I relatively was okay. But as you get older, you start aging, and I couldn't stand too long. I couldn't walk without, it just would be, I would be in pain, and I would be out of breath, and I had no energy. And so it got tougher and tougher. And actually, another reason that the ad was so impactful for me that first time I heard it was because, like I said, we were moving, and I could not assist in packing or moving, and I had to watch my husband and his dad basically work, and I just could sit there, and I felt useless, and I didn't want to feel useless.
Yeah. And had you tried over the years to lose weight prior to working with us?
Oh gosh, yeah. I was on a diet my whole life. There was some breaks where you get so fed up, you're kind of like, I don't care anymore. Or there was always this, I'm going to wait, I'll never get to this weight, and then that weight would come. And then you would be like, okay, well, I'm never going to get to that weight, and you just keep pushing it out. But yeah, I've tried loads of different diets. They just wouldn't work. I would get to a point, and then it just would stall.
Yeah.
One diet I used, very famous one, but they just kind of gave you points, and you could eat whatever you want. And so I really wasn't learning what my body could handle and could consume correctly. I was just, because you could eat all your points in ice cream if you wanted.
As long as you fulfilled the points,
right?
So you had mentioned that obviously the weight started to cause limiting abilities for you to do certain things, right? So helping with the move and walking. You're a mom too, right? How did the weight affect you as the ability to be a mom?
The pregnancy was horrible. I was sick, and I had to be in bed rest for like the whole 9 months. And so already being heavy, my muscles from not moving atrophied, and so by the time I had my daughter, I had to use like a wheelchair. I had to use those mobility scooters, and I was 36, and I didn't want to, and I had to have, especially because it took about 18 months to 2 years for me to gain any strength back. I pretty much had to depend on other people to help me care for her, pick her up. If I wanted to go out, I couldn't carry her. And as she grew older, because she's 5 when I started this, I didn't have the energy to push her on the swing. It would hurt. I could only do it a couple times, and I hated that. I hated that. The idea of going to a zoo was just terrifying to me, because I would have to push a stroller and just walk, and I just really did not feel it was fair to her at all, and I was scared. she was only under 5. What's going to happen when she's 10? What's going to happen when she's 20? And I'm pushing on 60. Am I even going to be here for her?
Yeah.
And that was a real scary thought, that my daughter would not have a mom, in her late teens, early 20s, and that was looking like a really big possibility.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that because of the weight, you started dealing with some pain issues, right? So pushing her in the swing or in the stroller was fatiguing, but also painful.
Yes.
Prior to meeting us, what was your pain levels like that you were dealing with?
Oh goodness, I could go for stretches that I just couldn't do anything. It was sitting or laying. That's all it would do. Like, she would be in the house, I'd be on the sofa or in the chair. It would hurt to get up. I had to depend on people to get me things, and it was unbelievable. I mean, sometimes the pain was so bad. I mean, I was hospitalized for it, and given strong narcotics to battle the pain for 2 weeks, and it really didn't. I mean, they pretty much gave you a shot in your spine and talked about back surgery, but I had heard about back surgery, and I know it's not the best
It's
thing.
not a path that you wanted to take.
Not a path I wanted to take, especially at my age.
Yeah.
Because they do have, all surgeries have lifespans, and I would have exceeded that. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to be 55 and heading for a second surgery.
Yeah. So we've been working together for just over a couple months.
Yeah.
How has your weight changed from now compared to where you were a couple months ago?
Geez. I'm down 60 pounds. And it's been extraordinary. It's just been to see my energy level really jump up, to see the fact that, people have made comments like, oh, well, first off, it was, you're not breathing near as hard crossing like the yard, and I wasn't. And then I think I took my daughter to like a water park that we have around here, and they had pictures of moose on the floor, and me and her were hopping, and my husband was behind me, and he goes, I had never seen you hop. And I said, you've never seen me hop? And it wasn't something consciously did, but it was who I am. I mean, I'm a person that wants to play and run and jump and enjoy life. And it's just so funny that I didn't even realize I wasn't until that someone pointed it out. So I feel like I'm able to be who I really am even more.
Just because you're not limited with things that are going on. So
Right.
we're obviously working on your weight loss, and we're working on some of your pain issues
Yes.
through some chiropractic and rehab things and spinal decompression.
Yes.
Right? How's your pain levels been lately?
It has been, it's been really phenomenal. I actually came to you guys for the pain because as I was losing the weight, my center of gravity is shifting, and I have had a bad back for 20 years, and so the center of gravity was just kind of throwing it off, and I honestly think that if I hadn't come to you guys and you working so hard at me, that it might have actually hindered even the weight loss, because the core muscles and everything that you guys help with, and the decompression of the spines and the nerve, they would have just been more and more painful, and I would have been back in the same spot.
So if your daughter would ask you to go to the zoo now, how would that make you feel?
Oh, I'd be happy. Sure, let's go to the zoo.
You wouldn't be scared about going?
No.
So there's a lot of people that struggle with problems like you have. What would you say to people that maybe have struggled with losing weight, tried lots of things, they've had chronic back issues and just have had to live with it, or take pills or have shots, and they were thinking that that was the only option? What would you tell them? I
would tell them to come here and to see what you guys offer. Not only is, I mean, the first day I came in here, you handed me not just, it wasn't a sales, you handed me scientific papers that were, peer-reviewed journals and everything else. It's, the science is sound, and don't give up hope. Try, and come here and talk to you guys, because you guys are just wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're wonderful too.
Well, thank you.
So take it from Toni Ann, if you feel like you're kind of stuck and can't move in a direction of health, reach out to us to see maybe if you could have the same story as she does too.
Totally, yeah.